What is happening, friends? Bam! It is time for Unlocked, baby. That's right, audio pops. This is going to be the disaster show. I got Parris, my friend here, joining us. Parris, thank you.
Hey, thank you for having me on. I'm excited. I'm excited to be on the disaster episode. This is going to be fantastic.
We're very happy to have you. My other friend, Brandon Tyrell.
Yeah, either way.
I'm a little drunk.
Hello. Hi. It's already starting.
I don't advocate for drinking or anything. On today's show, we're going to talk about the Gothic remake, Baldur's Gate 3, and a bunch of Phil Spencer and Xbox news. Intro, go! Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Destin, bringing it down a notch from that hype intro. You got to get the people in the seats, Brandon. Yeah. That's what I learned.
Yeah.
Parris, seriously, it's awesome that we were able to get you on the show. I really appreciate you making the time today.
Yes, thank you for having me. This is quite the honor. I have been a longtime listener of this podcast, so it is quite a treat to be on.
Well, you guys had a tremendous moment recently where you had Phil Spencer on your show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about recording that 1,000th episode? We're on 431. Yeah. We got to catch up.
I know it's the craziest thing. So Gamertag Radio is the podcast I'm a part of, and we just celebrated our 1,000th episode 2 weeks ago. So we reached out to Xbox because I told Danny Pena Godfrey, he's the original host of the show, the creator. I told him if we're going to have anybody for episode 1,000, it had to be Phil Spencer. The podcast started as an Xbox podcast. Xbox has obviously been great to us over the years. So we reached out. You know how it all works with PR and everything. So it took a little while to get everything confirmed, but he agreed to come on. And he actually tweeted that he wanted to come on when he was in Japan back in January. And we made it happen, recorded it, and it was a great conversation with him. So just thank you to Phil Spencer for coming on. It was 30 minutes and was a really good conversation. Talked about a lot of different things in Xbox, exclusives, VR, Japan, Game Pass, just the whole gambit.
Hearing him talk to you guys about your level of professionalism, and while you're critical of them, you're fair. I think that was some healthy praise. And
Phil's did not expect that at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were not expecting him to say anything like that at all. For him to go out of his way at the end of the interview to make a point to say that Xbox, they want criticism because they want to get better. So, I love Xbox, but I have been very critical of the path that they started back in 2013 with Xbox One. And to see all the changes that they have made coming up now as we enter the next generation is very exciting to see. So it was a very humbling comment for him to say that.
Well, congratulations on 1,000 episodes. Real quick, let's talk about some of the quotes, Brandon, that came out of the show that they did.
Let's do it.
So, Parris, you wanted to talk about a few of the things that were touched upon during that episode. And let's start with the VR comment. I believe that's the first one you sent over. It said, Phil Spencer said, I probably overstated. For the people who love VR and the experiences that are being built, no disrespect to any of the teams there. My main point was I wanted to be clear with our customers on where our focus was. If somebody was waiting for us to bring out a headset for Series X at launch, I was just trying to say we're not going to do that. We talked about this before on Brandon.
At length.
Yeah. How do you feel about the whole VR aspect being incorporated to next-gen consoles?
I mean, I understand it's a niche and there's a place for it in the sort of console ecosystem. Having said that, I don't think anyone, going from a primary Xbox, economy person like myself, I had no expectation that there was going to be a VR headset at launch. I don't think any other Xbox fans really expect it. And I don't think that's really where the effort and the workmanship needs to lie, really. I think delivering an awesome console at launch should be priority number one. And we saw last generation, like Parris said, a lot of decisions were made at the beginning of last generation in order to try to do more than I think needed to be done, or more than really I think people wanted to be done. Understanding your core audience, with that regard. But I'm really kind of happy to see that, because it shows that they're not really looking to grab every section of the market. They're looking to double down on, really their core audience, which is, I think, what they missed last generation. And it's yet another reason, again, like Parris said, the moves that they've been making leading up to the launch of the Series X really shows that they've actually got a good understanding of where they're going and what they're doing, and this is another reason to another piece of evidence to that regard.
Parris, what was your takeaway about this talking point? Do you feel like he was trying to just clarify how he feels about VR? To me, it was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, and actually, quick story on that. Ryan McCaffrey actually started this whole thing because he tweeted to Phil after the XO19 comments that started this whole thing with VR. I replied to Ryan, and then Phil replied to me, which prompted me to say, hey, if I'm doing this interview, I have to ask him about this. And yeah, he clarified it, because the point that I made to him was, I wasn't looking for VR day one. I just wanted the door to be open. And then he mentions, hey, I played a Half-Life Alyx. And my whole point to him was, I'm ready for VR 2.0. It looks like Half-Life Alyx is kind of the start of that. And we're going to probably start to see more adoption of VR. So it would be a shame to see Xbox not embrace that when your audience is ready for it. But he is absolutely right. Focus on launching the Series X first, get your launch right into the next gen, and then down the road start to look at VR.
Yeah, for sure. Personally, I don't care if Xbox Series X doesn't run or launch with VR. I'm absolutely fine just using it as a gaming platform. That's the way I use my Xbox One X currently. That's my couch gaming machine. That's where I'm playing Hellblade. That's where I'm playing when I want to hop into Fortnite on console. I like a lot of the free-to-play shooters. Hate me in the comments below. But yeah, so I mean, strategy-wise, I just think the VR market's really small. I don't think he necessarily needs to even be concerned about that. But saying that he is open to it in the future is good.
That's awesome. And I think the question you have to ask yourself is, look, how many people are saying no VR headset is a deal breaker for me, my friend? Like there aren't that many people who are holding out to make their purchase based on whether or not they're going to be able to play VR. Because you could pick up a Quest, right? Well, I think pre-orders started again, or the next wave of them. I know they were sold out for a while. But you can pick up a Quest right now and play Beat Saber if you want to.
Yeah.
And I have been. I am not a VR guy. I have never really enjoyed it a whole lot. I think it's very cool. But lately, because of the Quest and the accessibility of it and all that, I've started to come around a little bit. Beat Saber helped a lot. I really enjoy it.
Beat Saber is very fun.
My girlfriend really enjoys it. So, I could see that being a cool sort of ancillary product for an ecosystem I'm in. That's not why I'm in that ecosystem.
My wife played Beat Saber and hit me in the face at GuardianCon. It was wonderful. She really liked it, though. She didn't know it happened until later, so she felt really bad. But fun memory about
VR is dangerous.
So that's how we feel about VR. Moving on, you also talked about launching the Series X. We're trying to think about things in a new way. We're definitely not going to be meek. We're going to be bold in what we're trying to do. And actually, I'm going to use that as an opportunity. Well, no, we'll keep the E3 conversation separate. So let's talk about Series X launch. Keep focused on that. And Parris, they're not going to be meek. We're going to be bold in what we're trying to do. In what way do you think they're going to be being bold?
Well, I think we've already seen it with the Game Awards, being there. And, when Phil came out, I was like, what is he going to show Cuphead to or something? I was like, I had zero expectation. And then it was like, oh my God, it's the actual console. They're showing it, they're naming it. And we got Hellblade 2 at the same time. They're kind of showing that they're not going to follow the traditional model for a console launch. You know what I mean? So we may see other things throughout the year that are kind of unorthodox with the way that they're presenting the new hardware, their approach with not having completely exclusive games, things like that. So I'm excited to see it because, he said in the interview that it was actually a person on his marketing team that stood up in a meeting and was like, we have to do something different because the old way clearly isn't working because we're not the market leader anymore.
Yeah. So one of the stories that we've been talking about on IGN this week is the price point thing. Sony is apparently strategically going to wait to reveal their price point.
Kind of a wait and see approach, yeah.
In your opinion, what would your play be here, Brandon? Like, how would you handle this reveal of the price? Do you just come out and just say it?
Of Microsoft?
Yeah, for Microsoft. They're going to be first, right?
It's a great question. If you had asked me last generation, I would have had a different answer. But right now, enough has changed where I'm kind of in a unique position where I get to sit back and I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen. I think there's a lot of everything is very fluid right now. There's a lot of wait and see kind of how it shakes out, which is sort of what Sony is doing. And if you remember, we were in this exact same position 5 years ago now, where Sony came out right after Microsoft and were like, oh, by the way, here's a counterpoint to everything that they said that you might not have agreed with. Backwards compatibility, et cetera, borrowing games and whatnot. So I imagine if, in my ideal world, Microsoft matches. I don't think that's possible, just based on, the rumors that I've seen and sort of the tech specs, or, I know nothing's super official right now, but in a perfect world, I think they price match. And I think that Microsoft eats, similar to the 360. I think Microsoft eats profit for 2-3 years, maybe 3 years. But they come out and they say, hey, this is the Xbox Series X. It's $500. You can buy it now. Doesn't matter what anybody else does. Sony comes out and says, this is the PS5. It's $450. Sony can't really compete with Microsoft financially in that regard. So I think when they say bold, I would love for them to be like, look, we need to eat money on every Series X that we sell, because that is how we are, by de facto, buying back market share. They're losing $100 on every console, but they're using that $100 to buy back their place in the industry,
to build a community
in the market. Yeah.
What's your take, Parris? What would your plan be with the price point thing?
I actually completely agree that I don't see Microsoft pricing this over $500, no matter what PlayStation does. And I think part of their bold strategy and something they could use in their messaging is Game Pass. We joke all the time that at a minimum, every Series X should launch with 90 days of Game Pass.
100%.
If not, go all the way bold and say the first year, we're just giving you Game Pass for the first year if you buy the Series X, to kind of counter if PlayStation is lower at $450, or if they could somehow get to $399, to say, you already own Halo, you already own Forza, you own our first year lineup and all this back catalog of games for the first year without having to spend another dime. To me, that would be the smartest thing to do if they're going to truly be bold.
That's actually incredibly intelligent, because that sets them in a place. If they say we're launching at $499, even if Sony comes out at a lower price point, they're like, well, for the first 90 days, you're getting every game that launches on the console. You're also going to get access to this. We're giving you these things.
Well, every first party game.
Every first party game. So if they strategize and package it in that way, I think that would be incredibly powerful for Xbox. Even if Sony was like, Sony's going to do what? At max, $50 cheaper? I don't think they could do like 100.
I don't know. That's the thing, is like Ryan and I played a fun game of, the valuation of companies, and Microsoft is up there with Apple and Amazon. Sony is not. So I know there are divisions within these corporations, so you can't really say one-to-one. Like maybe Sony's game division is around what Microsoft's Xbox division is. I'm not really sure, but I can't imagine that Sony can compete financially with Microsoft if they take a page out of 2 generations ago's playbook, which is, look, we need to buy our way back into the gaming audience, the core gaming audience. And to do that, we're going to have to eat $50. We're going to have to eat $100 on every console we sell. And I think Parris is absolutely right. And not only Game Pass, you package in 3 months of Xbox Ultimate, which is Gold and Game Pass. You get them into the ecosystem. You give them everything that you need. And the launch window for any console is always fairly, I don't want to say boring. You have your real big upfront sexy games, right? You've got your racing game that shows off the tech and the graphics and the visuals. You've got your franchise, you got your Halo. But the 6 months that follows is a lot of like multi-generational ports and multi-generational or cross-generational games that come out that maybe don't make the fullest extent of the console. But that's where Game Pass comes in, is because not only do you have the games that you are absolutely going to be playing on Game Pass because they're first party, and the third party games because, Call of Duty is still the best selling franchise in the industry. You've got those things, but you've also got 200 games that you can play while you're waiting for that next killer piece of software to drop. It's genius, and I don't see with that strategy, and I'm looking for wood to knock on here, but I don't see how they can lose it if they apply that strategy. Get them in the door, give them everything they need.
You both bring up excellent points. I think my point's a little silly now that I was going to bring up, but I'll just say it anyway. So I want to get your temperature on this one.
Thanks for prefacing.
So I was wondering, like, what if Microsoft just during their press conference, and what would your reaction be to this if they just said straight up, and we'll match the price for the first year on the PS5, no matter what price point that they come out at, we'll match that price.
Oh man,
put in this code like E3 2020, and we'll match the price on any retailer partnership. Financially,
it's fine. I don't think that is bold, though. I think that is very clearly like, hey, we want the market. So if you see a PS5 for lower than an Xbox Series X, we'll price match it, rather than, hey, this is the price of the Xbox Series X. We can give it to you at this price. We know the PS5 costs this much. You can pick which one you want.
Because they're going to have a pretty good idea what the PS5 is going to be priced at.
Well, we already know it's $450 to $500. Yeah.
Yeah. So we know that. So they launch at $499.
Yeah, right? I think it's just an optics thing for me. I think if you come out and you price it at what the PS5 is, and you say this is the cost of the Series X for the foreseeable future, that is one thing. And if you come out and you say, look, we're going to match whatever the PS5 costs, that feels like you're playing from second place. And again, the difference might be small, but it very much does seem like an optics thing.
Yeah. A $50 difference isn't that big, Parris. There's no world where Sony comes out and says $399. That's just not going to happen, right?
If the rumors are true, I can't see them again. Like Brandon mentioned earlier, Sony just financially, I can't see them taking hundreds of millions of dollars of a loss for the first couple of years to try and stay at that magical $399.
Yeah,
I think PlayStation is a big enough brand at this point that if they have to go to $450 or $500, people are going to be okay with that. And to kind of answer what you just said a second ago about Microsoft just saying they'll match the price, it would be kind of great E3 showmanship to say that. But I think from a confidence standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, they should come out and be confident with the price that they say and give the messaging on why, like just say it's $499, say why this is worth $499. And then obviously promote the fact that this isn't the only platform that you can play your Xbox games on. If you don't want to spend $499, first year, we're still letting you play them on the Xbox One.
100%.
XCloud is coming. You can play them on the PC as well. Give those options out there to say that we've made this monster of a machine. It is more than worth the $499 price tag. But if you're not ready for that right now, here's option B, C, and D. That's what I would do.
Totally agree. And there's a lot of talk about how, well, I can get this first party game on the PC, so it's technically not an Xbox exclusive. Like, yeah, you totally can. Microsoft doesn't care what you play their games on. You are part of the family if you have a phone, a PC, or an Xbox. As long as you're playing Microsoft games, they consider you part of their family or part of that ecosystem.
Microsoft and Xbox has done an excellent job of inclusionary language and pushing other people's buttons like, hey, why don't you have crossplay on your game? It's really great. You should have crossplay. And it puts them in the good guy seat.
It does. And the counter argument to that is, well, last generation, the PS4 wanted to do crossplay with the 360, or it doesn't matter. Okay. Maybe there's a lot of
it's totally flipped.
There's a lot of competition, by generation. I understand why the market share leader wouldn't want you to be able to do crossplay, because then you're inviting other people to spend money in other ecosystems and other platforms. But bottom line is, Microsoft is being very inclusive with how they're handling their onboarding of the core audience that they're looking for, and I don't think there's a really wrong way to be part of that Xbox community now, which is awesome.
Absolutely. I love digging into just like, where's their mindset at? What are they thinking? On exclusives, this is the one that Xbox gets hit with the most. Obviously, we built our strategy with Series X. We started with that in mind. We wanted to go build a gaming console that was going to be the absolute best we could deliver on a television and deliver unique capability to creators that they could use to go create the best games. But you don't want to do that to the exclusion of everybody else. And you also want to do that hand in hand with developers, because developers want to find the widest audience possible. And yes, there are always trade-offs. Always trade-offs. I'm not going to dictate to every third-party studio what they have to support, but what we see in today's world, this is a long quote, sorry everybody, is that gamers want to go and play games with their friends regardless of what device those friends are on, the point we were just making largely. People want to have the largest selection of games open to them. Parris, this is a long quote you sent me. and developers want to make use of the best technology that is available. We built this plan with all three of those as inputs. and we feel really good about where we are.
Yeah.
See, it's long, but I think that was kind of needed that it was long because I purposely asked him that question in the interview because obviously there was the big controversy after what Matt Booty said about, hey, we're first year, we're not going to have exclusive games, but it kind of goes back to what we were just saying. They don't care where you play their games. And they're basically saying, hey, we're the Windows company. We've been in the PC space for a while. This thing is basically a PC.
100%.
So there's going to be a low spec, there's going to be a medium spec, a high and an ultra spec. And that's how they're treating their games moving forward. And I know people freaked out about that, but I think choice is good. I don't see this, especially in the first year, being a bad thing because, like you said at the top, most first year launch games aren't that great anyways. So you're not going to be missing out on that much. If anything, it allows people that can't afford to spend $4.99 to hold on to their Xbox One X, which I think is really their Trojan horse in all of this, and play that out until the price drops. We all win.
I've talked about it on the show. Like, I don't know if I'll get a Series X immediately. I will definitely get a Series X
for work.
For work, but if the games are running fine on my Xbox One X for like the first year, and there's nothing like pressing that I need to experience on the Series X on my home rate, let's be honest, I'm going to buy one day one.
I know you are.
I'm just such a
but
sucker.
I'm going to let you finish the point.
Yeah.
Go ahead. The whole time I'm thinking like, you liar.
Parris is right. You are right. This is a huge market. They have this huge install base. They're already winning on that front from day one. So, yeah. What about exclusives, though?
What about them?
So here's what they said about E3. Ori the game is special. So he responded like, what are your plans for E3? Phil Spencer said, Ori the game is special. Reading internal notes from people playing through another amazing game by Moon. Next E3 meeting is today as we're recording this. So Microsoft is meeting about E3. Oh, they're going to miss all our great feedback.
Sorry, they'll have another meeting.
You guys can have a follow-up. Just kidding. Next E3 meeting is today. Tons to talk about between now and E3 and deep portfolio of XGS games for E3. Xbox Game Studios. Aaron Greenberg doing work. Console launch years are just special. And he's absolutely right. We actually talked about this last episode. What did we say, Brandon? We said we want to see Fable. We want to see...
I mean,
in an ideal world.
What didn't we want to see?
Yeah.
I think it's probably a shorter list.
Do you remember all of them? Fable was on the top of our tongue.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see Fable. I wanted to see Crimson Skies again. Something from the Mech Assault line, I'm sure. There are...
Perfect Dark rumor.
There is a Perfect Dark rumor. Emphasis on the rumor. I know there was a picture going around of Drew Murray and Phil Spencer over at the Initiative. Spencer's got a controller in his hand, and he's looking at a screen, and Murray's looking at him with childlike bemusement. And I really love that picture, and so much so that I photoshopped a little, 10% opacity, Perfect Dark Joanna Dark into Drew Murray's, the reflection of Drew Murray's glasses.
Yeah.
And then I didn't send it anywhere because I don't want to add to the problem that it's just a rumor. But that could be coming back. Rare's up to a bunch of different stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we could see as exclusives in the coming generation. But what I'm most interested in are new IP from Xbox. Everything that we have is, I love me my Halo. Yeah. I love me my, I'm not a huge Gears guy. Nothing against the series. It just never really grabbed me.
You're off the show.
Miranda's not here. I love me my Halo. I love me my Fable. I would love to see more of that. I'm a big fan of Horizon. I love what those guys are doing. I want to see the next big thing. I want to see the next franchise that I can't live without. And I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen that from Microsoft. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when's the last huge tentpole game that, I say it every week, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but Sony knows exactly who their audience is and what they want. They want gritty, cinematic, third-person action games that really pull you in and make you live in a dark, mysterious, gritty world. Microsoft doesn't have an answer to that. Currently, they have Hellblade.
The closest one they have, I'm going to play the asset right now, is Hellblade, and hopefully it's the right asset this time.
Right, nailed it. They have Hellblade, and Hellblade's fantastic. I reviewed it. I loved it. I said everyone should play it, even if it's not your cup of tea, because even if you don't like it as a video game, it's got some stuff in there that might make you think. I really, really love that game. I'm super stoked for Hellblade 2. I want to see the next... What I'm hoping was, Hellblade was an excellent sort of 10, 12, I forget exactly how long it is, but 10, 12-hour game.
You reviewed it, right?
I did, yeah. Excellent 10, 12-hour game. I'm really hoping that they treat Hellblade as a proof of concept for a much larger world. But at the same time, I don't want them to lose that intimacy, that real sort of internal monologue intimacy that they had in the first game in the sequel. It seems like from the B-roll you're seeing right now, it seems a lot like it's going to be a much larger area. Whether that translates to play space or not, I don't really know. But it seems like they're going to establish more mythos and sort of the universe of Senua.
Brandon,
So,
I adore this trailer. Really quick to just interject.
Yeah.
Jurgen's performance and Xbox saying this is what the Series X is capable of. Even if you don't like Hellblade, your brain starts imagining the possibilities of what your favorite properties could do, what storytelling capabilities this console could have. I absolutely love this trailer. I wish more people would have watched it. It was very popular when it came out. I wish people saw the same thing that I did.
right.
Yeah. Sorry, were you done? Sorry, I interrupted.
It's
you.
fine. Basically, I was getting long-winded anyway.
Yeah.
I have a...
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I have a. I was trying to think of my next work. I have and I would love to get Parris's intake on this as well. But I have a need to find the next franchise that I will be playing and obsessively thinking about every 4 or 5 years.
Parris, we were talking about E3 exclusives, content on the Xbox. Do you have any dreams? Like, what would your dream exclusive be on the Xbox? Or are you like Brandon? Do you want to see more new IPs?
I have 2 words: Banjo Kazooie. If there's any old IP that they bring back, that's the one for me. Bring back Banjo as a true platformer. Put it on Xbox. Put it on PC, Nintendo Switch, ColecoVision. I don't care. Just bring back Banjo Kazooie. I just adored that franchise, and it's just a shame that it sat on the shelf this long. Now, I also have another thing that you brought about Perfect Dark. So this ties into new IP thing. So we have a thing on our show called What If, where we just do crazy conspiracy theories.
All right.
I don't think Phil was looking at Perfect Dark when he was at the Santa Monica studio.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think Santa Monica studio is making a new IP, but I do think Perfect Dark is coming, and I think it's coming from the Coalition. And the reason I say that is conspiracy. Go back to E3 2013 when it was still called Black Tusk.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Coalition. They showed a concept back then of a game that they were making that obviously got shelved because it became the Coalition. They started making Gears.
Right.
Well, let's just say Gear 6 doesn't come right away. What if they're doing Perfect Dark and they're using those old assets? That's all. That's my conspiracy.
Interesting conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory hats on, Brandon.
Yeah. I like it.
What's your rebuttal?
I don't have a rebuttal. I hope so. Yes. Let's do it.
If Coalition did that, that would be so cool. And it would be so unexpected. I would love to see.
Who's leading the project, though? That's what I'm curious about.
Not Rod.
No, I know.
Yeah,
So that's
clearly not
Rod's
Rod.
all Diablo.
it's an interesting. All right, everyone, let's put our tinfoil hats on. Rod went over to lead up Diablo, which means that maybe new direction, new blood. Maybe there was a change coming.
Ooh. Maybe.
Not that Rod wanted. I'm saying if they were going to do another Gears game and maybe Rod didn't want to, that's one thing. But maybe they have 2 teams, or maybe something else is in development. And it was a nice, clean time for Rod to go on and work on another franchise that he was passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how he left, it wasn't on bad terms.
Not at all.
I even saw a picture like Aaron Greenberg was up there, and they're all taking pictures together.
Yeah.
So they're leaving on great terms, so that if there were a project that was, I'm sure he's turning it over into good hands.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's not chaos as he walks out the door. So it may not be Perfect Dark. That's just a crazy conspiracy theory.
love it.
I would say this though, as much as I like Gears, I hope their next game is not Gears, and I want to see Gears take a break, because Gears 5 was good, but I think the Gears model has kind of run its course, and they need to reinvent themselves a little bit more than they already have. So
Yeah,
I would hope we don't.
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They just did with 4 and 5.
Yeah, wasn't
And
that the point?
If that's not working, then that's a problem,
And that's what I mean. I think it works as being good games. Gears 4 and especially 5 were good games, but they weren't great games. I don't have the feeling that I had during the prime of Gears from 1, 2, and 3 that I've had with 4 and 5. I played them, I enjoyed it, and I was kind of done. I'm like, all right, I'll move on to something else. Where back in those days, Gears 2, Gears 3, I played it over and over and over, especially the multiplayer. But I don't know. I just kind of think I like that they dipped their toe into the open world, maybe embrace that more, maybe embrace the RPG side of it more. But Gears needs just a little extra more to kind of get it over the top, in my opinion.
So what about the Halo franchise? It's been around just about as long. How do you feel about Halo?
Hey, tread lightly, my friend.
That up.
Tread lightly.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that one up, because I have said on numerous times, and I said it to Phil Spencer directly, Halo Infinite is the most important game Xbox has ever made.
100%.
They cannot screw this up, because after 5, I was extremely disappointed with 5. Just me personally as a gamer.
I might have said one or two things about it. Lock.
Yeah. So they've clearly taken a break on purpose, and they're obviously the Slipstream engine. It looks like there may be some quasi open world things going on there. You know, you and I both love Destiny. I do not think it's a Destiny clone.
I don't think it's a live service. Yeah.
They got to do something that isn't just classic Halo, or people are just going to rubber stamp it and go, it's just more Halo. They got to do something that when they show it at E3, we're just floored.
Yep.
I know today they just announced an esports partnership as well. So I know they're going to go all in a multiplayer, but they got to recapture that magic of Master Chief, Cortana, and making me care about that relationship, because I just did not care about it in 5. So if they can get that campaign right, obviously maybe have some co-op strike type things that happen in the end game, I don't know. And then obviously the multiplayer is, I'm sure, going to be fine. That's what Halo Infinite has to be for me anyways. But again, if they screw this up, they're risking the franchise just not being relevant anymore.
100%. There is such a thing as too many of a not so great thing, right? Too much of a not so great thing. You know, coming off 1, 2, and 3, clearly phenomenal games. I really enjoyed Reach as well. 4 was new, and I personally really love the librarian and didactic exchanges in the terminals in Halo 3. So that story really spoke to me. And then, you know, you started to see sort of the elements that were leading into 5, and then 5 landed. And I don't think I'm being disrespectful to say that it was not received as well as, you know, what you would assume a Halo game would be received as.
You monster.
I know, right?
How could you say that?
I'm trying to be so political right now. I'm walking such a tightrope. No, really, I think it was probably the weakest of the Halo games, just flat out. With single player anyway, but
no, you're right. I'm just joking.
To Parris,
it starred Luke Cage. That's all I have to say on it. Luke Cage was the main character, and Master Chief was a guest star.
He's a hero for hire, and he found himself in the Halo universe. The other thing is the marketing of that game pit the Master Chief versus
did
Locke.
not deliver at all.
And that is not what that game is. That game is not a Clash of Titans. That game is a Easter egg hunt. However, I think Parris is 100% right. You stand on the precipice of casting Halo into
the abyss.
No, into just not being relevant. Irrelevancy.
Yeah.
Like if Halo is no longer a top tier, Halo is the flagship of Xbox.
Heretic.
Demon. Halo is the flagship of Xbox. If you lose Halo, you really that's
your identity.
You risk damaging your brand and your identity as a platform and an ecosystem. So this is really the moment where Halo 343 need to step up and deliver something that will blow us away. Fortunately, and this is just my opinion, everything that I have seen has me thinking that they are going in an excellent direction for it.
Yes.
And I genuinely believe that not only will we be blown away by the story and the tech behind it, powering it, I think they're going to create enough fresh blood in the mechanics and the gameplay of it to really maybe not rewrite the book, but at least add chapters, right? Or maybe format it differently.
Yeah.
I agree with Parris. I don't think it's going to be a games as service. I don't think we're looking at Halo the Destiny game, but I think that they are going to destroy this. They're going to knock this out of the park, and I'm very hopeful for it.
I hope so. Yeah.
And I think
I really hope so.
I think it speaks back to Phil's comment about being bold at E3. I think they come out on stage and they're like, "Look, we already announced the Series X. Here's the price point. Also, here's Halo." And then he just walks off stage and it's,
here's our first campaign mission. Here's a multiplayer map in action. Like, here's how we're supporting it with the esports initiative that was announced today. Man, they could just drop the hammer with a really, really great hit.
That's what I'm saying, man, is like game developers are smart. Game developers are savvy. They know they are also the harshest critics. So if you think that they're resting on the laurels of 1, 2, 3 reach ODST, you're insane, because they are going to feel every single thing everybody has said about Halo 5, and they're going to understand the position that they're in now. And I find it very hard to believe that they're going to deliver anything other than a good, great, amazing Halo game. Yeah. But that's just my personal thought.
We have about 10 minutes of studio space left, so I did want to talk about some more general news. Yeah. This has been a great conversation about Xbox. I've really, really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Is that what we talk about on this podcast?
Well, yeah. Like I just wanted to talk about all the Xbox stuff from Parris' show and, just what's been going on. There was a 4chan leak. It's 4chan, so I said, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, 4chan. I did want to talk about what's up with Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is out. It's like $3,000 on Xbox and it's $20 on PS4. What happened there?
Dude,
have you guys noticed this story?
No, so, please fill me in.
Miranda wanted me to talk about this. Apparently, like the collection of games is $60, then Kingdom Hearts 3 is like $60. So the Xbox user base ends up paying way more.
Like 120 for the whole thing?
I think it's like, I'm speaking off the cuff, obviously. It's much, much more expensive to play on the Xbox platform. And it's really, really weird because it's coming out much further down the line than when it was. And some of the people in the Facebook Unlock group brought this up. So
okay.
I just want to let our listeners know, maybe chill on Kingdom Hearts for a little bit if you can, because you're going to be paying a very high price point. And hopefully the Xbox team can address that concern that the community has brought up.
Yeah, I don't know why that would be.
Exclusivity, right?
I know there are multiple editions. I didn't think Kingdom Hearts was an exclusive still. Is it?
No, I think that's what happened. I think it opened up.
Yeah.
And it's very expensive on the other platform.
But then why would the price point be higher on Xbox over Sony or whatever?
That is an excellent question, cool. Brandon.
So did we just get down to the brass tacks of it?
That is the brass tacks of it. Why are Xbox owners getting hosed? That's a bummer.
I don't know. Let's follow up.
Yeah. We will. Parris, you got the Project XCloud running on your phone.
Yes.
And on a tablet.
Yes, I do.
Do you have it there right now? Are you playing right now during the show?
No, I could have been, but it's right here. Yeah, the iOS beta finally came out last week, and I know it was 10,000 people, and I magically got in. Shout out to Xbox. I don't know what happened, but I got in, and been playing on the iPhone. I've been playing on my iPad Pro, which I'm now 1,000% convinced that is the optimal way to do this whole cloud streaming stuff, because I take just prop up my iPad, Bluetooth controller, because it's only the Master Chief Collection on iOS right now. So I'm playing Halo Reach, and it was just seamless. It was fine. I had no problems. Even taking it on the go with my iPhone over LTE, I'm on T-Mobile, and a little bit of lag here, a little bit of lag there. But as far as just, hey, I'm trying to kill time for a few minutes, let me hop in and play a little bit, worked great. Absolutely great, which is why I've been saying from the get, this whole cloud streaming stuff with Stadia, XCloud, GeForce Now as a supplement, I love it. I think it's just something to kill time with. It's fantastic.
I need to grind out a bounty in Destiny. Just hop on your Project XCloud, hop on your NVIDIA, whatever. Any of the platforms really, except Stadia. They're all great.
Well, I mean, I think you're right, though. I think it's very cool supplemental technology, and I think it's going to go a long way in that regard. But you've had companies like NVIDIA who've tried to make it their main platform for a long time. I mean, I remember doing
and they just came out with a new one that's pretty good.
I know, but I remember the Shield handheld device that was supposed to be streaming and change everything. So, I think it's got a ways to go before you eschew all the other forms of platforms to play your games on. But man, can you imagine the possibilities of like an XCloud that gives you all your games on the go?
I actually have to. That would be awesome. And I have to internally at IGN give Bo props. He's been analyzing, he's been doing it with the XCloud. He's been doing it with Stadia. I'm sure he's hopefully been doing it with the iOS version of Project XCloud. He's really, really interested in this technology, and he's been doing great analysis on IGN. So props, Bo. He doesn't listen to this show, but the rest of the world does. The Xbox world. What else? What is I going to talk about? Oh, geez, the actual news. This is a minor one, but Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be at PAX. Here's the crazy trailer that they played. Do either of you guys play Baldur's Gate?
It's been about over a decade easily, the last time I played.
Roll you, BT. It was really goofy. I loved it. This is what they posted on Twitter.
Yeah, Sven's great. He's the CEO of the company.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, the guy in the armor is the CEO. Yeah, I play Baldur's Gate. I also play a crap ton of Dungeons and Dragons. I've been following this super closely. I've talked to, the head of 5th edition for D&D, and I've talked to Sven personally about it, and I'm super stoked. And
how big is this announcement for context for listeners like me who don't know what's going on?
I actually didn't watch a trailer because there's reasons, but
there's spoilers?
No. There's other reasons.
Okay.
So I don't actually know what was announced.
Well,
in the trailer.
It's going to be at PAX.
Okay.
And it's just them in suits and them with doing the production stuff.
At least someone's going to be at PAX. You know what I mean? Reference to the fact that
the coronavirus took out Sony and everybody
it,
else. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so this will be the gameplay reveal of it. I'm very, very excited as a big old nerd that I'm going to get to play this. And, yeah, this is a big one.
All right. Well, Brandon Stoke, let us know how you feel in the comments below. I just want to make sure you guys get your news before we have to head out. And then THQ also revealed a Gothic remake. Here's the trailer for that. Hopefully it plays the right ass. I don't know what the hell's going on. We are up to the challenge to develop a full Gothic remake, which will stay as faithfully as possible to the original experience and transport the atmospheric world of Gothic into a high-quality look and carefully modernizing certain gameplay mechanics.
That's cool.
Did you play Gothic?
I did, yeah. Paris, did you play Gothic at all?
No, I did
am
not.
so glad Brandon's here today.
Yeah, Gothic is not your normal fantasy RPG game. It was kind of ahead of its time. It was very... Okay, so here's the premise of Gothic, and I'll transport it into a modern time. You have a prison, and that prison is manufacturing license plates.
I'm in.
And you need these license plates because they're the only license plates that work for whatever reason.
Are you serious? This is the concept?
You could I'm translating it out of the fantasy trope, so it's more digestible. However, there's the prisoners rioted and took over, and there's no way in or out of the prison. So now it's basically a society in and of itself. And you are thrown into that prison, and now you have to maneuver all the politics of it, where the prisoners have become the guards. So there's weird kind of like Lord of the Flies element to it where, I'm sorry, not Lord of the Flies, Animal Farm element to it where, you become what you rebel against.
Yeah.
It's weird socioeconomic politics, and it's a little more mature than I think most RPG games are, and it's super hard. It's like you die for no reason.
Dude, I got to be honest. You just sold me on the game.
It's pretty cool. It came out decades ago, so there's a bunch of reviews online, and you can play it on GOG right now as well. I know that for sure, maybe on Steam. It has not aged particularly well. It looks an awful lot like EverQuest 1. So, buyer beware. But it is a cool idea. It's a cool premise. It's less about like, go fight a dragon, and more like, hey, you are at the bottom of the pecking order, hero.
Mm-hmm. It's a Fallout story, really.
Try to survive against these chickens, and eventually you start your journey to be, the chosen one or whatever. I can't remember the actual hook of it. But the game makes no qualms about how you are just a bug in this world, and you need to behave that way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm totally not surprised they're redoing it, because this kind of sort of, I don't know, mature take on fantasy is right in line with what we're seeing these days.
I'm interested.
Game of Thrones, The Witcher,
Yeah.
These are the stories that strip away the,
the fantastical element.
the bloom lighting and the Vaseline on the lens, and really like dig into the meaty, sort of underbelly of fantasy, which is what I'm all about. I love it.
That's really cool. I'm glad I picked two things right up your alley, Brandon.
Hey.
Thanks for giving us more context.
Happy to be useful.
Parris, you're great, dude. What are you talking about? Parris, real quick, where can people find you? Where can people watch your stuff?
So you can find the podcast Gamertag Radio at gamertagradio.com. Pretty simple. And obviously on your favorite RSS feed, just search Gamertag Radio. And I also have a YouTube channel. Awesome. And it is YouTube. It's a stupid URL, youtube.com/C/G, but it's Marcelo696. But if you search my name, Parris, you can find me on YouTube. And of course, we're on Twitch. So twitch.tv/Gamertag Radio. And if you want to see the ramblings of an angry old man, you can find me on Twitter I'm at Vicious696.
Cool. BT, you got anything to plug?
Oh gosh. Yeah, we just we put up a preview today of Amazon Games Studio, their new MMO.
New World.
Yeah, their new MMORPG coming out called New World. Very PvP centric, but awesome writer named David Jagnow filed his preview today. And
Props, David. I follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, it's live on the site. Go check that out.
We also did that rundown feature, the everything you need to know about.
Yeah, that I didn't want to mention it, but that came out like a few days before this preview dropped.
No, it came out like a week ago.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's been up
okay.
there for a week because it had a really slow burn on views, but it broke 100K like today.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can go check all that out, and the everything we know is linked to in the preview, so you can find all that information. But yeah, just business as usual. Preview season got us tripping, I guess.
Yeah. it's really busy right now internally. We're actually doing a lot of really cool stuff at IGN that I can't talk about right now. So just keep an eye out. Keep an eye on IGN. We're doing some things. Thank you so much for joining us, Parris.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was really fun.
Yeah, great talking to you.
Thank you, Brandon, for hanging.
Of course.
Doing the show. Until next time, everybody. See you on the next episode. Bye.
Podcast.